Assalamu alaikum. Now this session is for account receivable. So in the web prolific and accounting module, you have the sub modules account receivable. So same like as all other modules, all master data being managed in the chain level. So if you go to the chain level, you can manage, you can create your AR IDs here and AR groups in AR parameters. Let me show you here. AR groups already created here: airlines, credit cards, city ledgers, corporate. So you can create it here. Just define the code and description and save it. The another thing which sometimes you used to create it here related with the city code, because the number of clients you have from the different cities. So this city code will be useful at the time of the making payment, so you can mention it here. And create modify AR. In create modify AR, the same thing I have already explained in the master data training, that here you are supposed to create the AR IDs respectively under that group and the AR groups, and you have to mention the AR ID, AR group, AR ID, AR name, your client name, the address and other details respectively. Now let me move forward to the AR module in the property level. So this is account receivable software, where the main concept is this: you will get all the outstanding from the front office, because this is connected with your PMS, and those who doesn't have the PMS and want to manage the record, then they are only supposed to handle the record from transaction entry, because from the transaction entry they can make the invoices, they can take the payments, they can make the debit note, they can make the credit note. But in terms of hotels, where you are using the PMS, so especially if the PMS is interface with this application, then you are supposed to access from this interface screen, from where you will transfer the record, then modify it and then post it here. So when you will post it, then it will be available in your account receivable, it will be available in the statement of account. Okay, let me describe you theoretically now. Account receivable application screens. So parameters and create modify AR, it is related with the master data setup as I just explained to you. And now in terms of gateway, the gateway means that those screens from where you are taking the data from any other module, any other software. So here the gateway serve as a transfer to front office transaction, modify front office transaction. Okay, because you have to transfer the record, then you have to modify it, then you have to post it. Transactional data in terms of routine transaction, yes, after the posting the data from this gateway screen, you have to go to the transactional data. In transactional data, of course the first step which is required for the account receivable for the credit officer is to generate the invoices, whatever the outstanding comes from the front office or from the point of sales. So they have to generate the invoice for the company, and then they send those invoices to the company. So those invoices, there is a shortcut also available there, the customized invoice utility, if you want to use it, or you can individually, you can go in the statement of account screen and individually you can get any select any that client who having the outstandings. So respectively you can also generate the invoice from the same screen and take the print of the invoice. Statement of account after the posting of the data from the gateway side. Okay, now for when the payment will be received, or sometime you are supposed to create the credit notes, so all those transactions you have to follow the transaction entry screen, where transaction entry screen will be used for making payments, for making credit notes, as well as you can make the manual invoices. For example, you have some rental things for which you are supposed to make the invoices against the clients, so you can make the invoices here also. And in some scenarios where the clients our clients are not the hotels, they are the company head office and they are using our accounting system. So in that scenario they are not using the option of gateway or invoicing. They are just making the manual invoices from the same screen. They are making the payments from the same screen, or in some scenarios the debit note and credit note also. So this screen will be a very useful screen from where you can do these 4 activities. Okay, and after making the invoice, after making the payments, so system will also ask you to settle with the invoices. If you press yes, then it will bring you in the another screen. That one is settlement screen. So there are 2 screens available for this one. Basically the main screen is settle document, where the first you have to select the payment note and credit note, and respectively you will select the invoices where with what you want to settle the record. In accounting terms, some people also say like allocations, that they are doing the allocations with the outstanding amount with the payments. Okay, now in transaction support module, the transfer transaction screen is available, dispute transaction is available here. As such, there is no use of the dispute because this screen is only useful in the accounts payable side, but in transfer transaction is the same as I explained in accounts payable, that if you have the outstanding of one client and you that you want to transfer to any other client, so you can use this screen instead of passing debit note or credit note. You just use this screen and system will transfer the outstanding from one client to another one. Okay, in output the invoice inquiry, document inquiry, cash ledger inquiry and AR reports are available here. Okay, in terms of application flow, now let me come to here, account receivable workflow. So what are the objects required for the account receivable screen, and what is the relation between those objects? I am going to explain you here. First of all, you have to understand that how account receivable works, because in my PMS training I have already mentioned that there are 3 types of settlement basically being done in the hotels. One is credit, one is cash, and one is city ledger. As far as it is concerned with the cash, it will directly fall to the general ledger module. But if you talk about the city ledger and credit card, where the in actual payment has not been received, so for those 2 transactions after the night audit process, it will fall to the AR module. So in the respective AR IDs, whatever you have created before. So whatever the AR ID has been created by the credit officers, so it will be shared with the sales team, and sales team will link with the corporate accounts. So the reservation team will be able to do the link of AR ID there in the reservations, and respectively front office team, when they are going to check out, so the system will allow them because of the AR ID, and all the outstanding will be moved to the AR, will be registered against AR ID, and after the night audit those transaction will be available in this in the gateway of the account receivable module. So what happens after the night audit, whenever the account receivable guy starts the duty in the morning, what is his first responsibility? Let me show you here. He is supposed to go to the interface module, and from the interface module he has to let me show you here, because in this user ID the interface module is not available. Just hold a second. Just this interface I am talking about. So in your property you are supposed to go to the interface module. In interface module you have the option, there are multiple options available here, the import and export, file upload and transfer to back office, which could be used as per the scenario, that what interface, how the interface done between your back office and front office software. If you are using our products like Wishnet as a PMS and point of sale Touche, then you have to use the import data and export data feature every day in the morning. If you are using any other product, for instance I am just giving example of Opera PMS, if you are using that one or IDS, so they are supposed to give you the export files after the night audit. That one is MFRV or MFCL file. So MFRV and CL file you have to upload from here, and then you have to go to this screen and transfer to the back office. Then it will be available in the gateway screens in the application. So now as it is connected with the our PMS, so you are supposed to go to the import data screen. and from the import data screen, right now it is not configured here, so from the import data screen you can account receivable and general ledger you can import it with respective date, and same like the export will also work. Okay, for export, the concept of export is only this: when you are creating any master data, the ARID and GL, then you are supposed to go to the export data screen and just you have to press the OK button, because then it will be transferred to the PMS site. Let me move forward. So in terms of the flow, I'm going to explain this screen, that all the city ledger credit card record will be appear in the transfer effort transaction screen. So after the interface, this record will be appear in modify effort transaction. So you can go on that screen after the interface transfer, and from here you ask if you will find any discrepancy in ARID, if the wrong ARID is linked by the front office staff, or the particular is not correct, or you want to put some other information which you want to show in the invoice. So particulars modifications as well as the ARID modification, you can do it in this screen, and after saving the record you can come to this screen and post the record from here. So after posting this, all the invoices, all the outstanding will appear in their statement of accounts respectively. So after the transfer, you are what is the first step which you need to require, that you have to generate the invoices and send the invoices to the clients. So the invoice generation method is also available in statement of account, as well as you can also use the generate customized invoice option. Let me show you how it will work. So after the interface, you will go to the modify effort transaction. No need to put the date because it's the filter area. Just click the search option. So whatever the outstanding will be transferred, all will be appear here, and here you ARID you can change it, and the particulars you can modify it and press the save button. If you want to see the details of the transaction, you can click here. If you want to split the transaction, you can click here. These two options are available on this site. So here you can also verify that correct ARIDs are connected, or if the correct ARID is not connected, you have to modify it, because after that, while doing the posting, that transaction will stuck here. It will not be posted into the AR module. Just assume whatever the record here, it is still not in the AR module. It is still stuck here after, but it has been transferred from front office to your accounts. Now after doing this thing, you have to go to transfer effort transaction, which will be required to post the record. So here you will have to put the same data, same date, and after putting the date, the number of to be transferred record and total amount of the city ledger will appear here, where you are supposed to press OK button. So then it will be posted. Sometimes what happens, whenever you have a number of record, for example 15-20 companies different outstanding comes to you, and you want to generate the invoice and print the invoice. So there are, for the generation and printing, there are two methods. Either you will go to statement of account and customize invoice. So in statement of account, if you go, you have to select one by one the company and then search the outstanding. You have to press click here, generate invoice, and search the record. For instance, I will give you the one example. So the record will appear like this way. Here you can see the some invoice generation are already done, and for this the record invoice generation is not done. But if you will follow this way, you will select it, generate invoice, this button you will press it, the message will come, yes, invoice generated, invoice number will come, invoice printing will also be done. So take the print, this is your invoice. So this is the manual way, but individually you have to do one by one. So you can take the print from here. Sometime what happens, you have already generated the invoice, but the client is saying that he has multiple invoice, you have to make it one. So, and you are selecting like this way and take the print. So what happens, the system on that time, the system will give you the invoice number like this various, and invoice number will be appeared here, because in that way you have to manually manage the invoice number, because once the invoice number has been generated, it will not support you to modify that invoice numbers. So you have to manually manage those things respectively. Okay, so from in the statement of account, how to generate the invoice I have just shown to you. Now let's move to the another way, the customized invoice method. Here, because this is the just a utility which will support for the generation, and of course while doing the printing you have to go to the either statement of account or report site. Okay, here you can see individual and consolidated. So usually we follow consolidated and press search. So all the outstanding transaction will be appear here, where we have to avoid all the credit card, because for the against credit card we will not make the invoices. So this, for example, I will select 1 2 3 4 5, and now I will press save. So what will be happen, it will generate two invoices, one for this company wise, means consolidated means it will consolidated supplier client wise. So this one client, this total one invoice will be generated, and for this one, if I will press individual, so individual transaction wise it will generate, means it will generate 6 invoices. So only this is the difference. Let me save it. The message will come here, invoices has been generated, and nothing else. If you want to take the print of these invoices, you have to go in one go, because if you go to statement account one by one company you have to chase, and then you will be able to take the print. But yes, you have to go to the report site, invoicing, bill print, put today date, whatever the bill you generated today, so it will come, and press the export to PDF. So all PDF those invoices will come and take the print. So it means in one short way, the multiple clients invoices you can generate and you can print. This is the way you can handle it. For while taking the payments, while making the debit note and credit note, you are supposed to go to the transaction entry. In transaction entry, this is same like the statement of account. The only thing is this option will not work. But yes, you can go to the add, and then you can apply the transactions, the payments. Let me click any company. I'm making the payment of 100. Of course, you are supposed to select the bank here also. Bank identification, check number, check date is required, because you are making the payment where the payment is being debited in your bank, so it will be credited from which bank. If you are receiving the check and any other information, you can mention it here. For this things I was asking for the city which you are supposed to show, what check number you have received or any other thing, if you want to mention it here. Check date today. So this is the way. So this is the receipt. This is the way how to make the transaction or take the payment in the system. Transaction posted. Whenever you will try to save the payments, system will always ask you this question: the transaction posted, want to settle it, you can press yes. So your selected transaction will come into the right side. Actually it is bringing you in the another screen. That one is called settled document. You see here. So here the payment selected, you can press search. So invoices will or outstanding will come down. All the debit invoices you will select it. So this amount partially will be selected with the, because this the outstanding amount is more 3000, so the payment amount is less, so partially it will be settled if I will press save. Let me close because I am not settling. But this is the way you can do the allocation. The same thing, you can go to the settle document screen. In settle document screen you can select the party against what you want to, then click search. So it will show you the payments and credit note here first. For example, one credit note is here. I will select the credit note and go to the settle transaction, click here. So my selected transaction will come on the right side top. The same way when I make the payment, it is appearing on the right side top, and then press search. Then all the debit transaction will come down, and respectively I will click here. So it because this amount is more, it is fully settled with this one. So currently the partially I am settling with these two. Still it is less. Save and close. Settlement done. So from the payment side, the two outstanding settlement is fully done. The remaining is left. So this is the way of the settlement. Settle invoices is the another way of settlement, where you will select any party, any client, and search. So their payment their payment, or in other words you can say credit note, will be enlisted here on the right side. For example, there are 3 invoices or 4 invoices, so you are just supposed to put the invoices number here, or you can click here and then select the invoices. So currently there is no record because the debit transactions are here. For this thing the invoice number must be generated. So for this one, why it is giving me the error, because there is no invoice number has been generated. So if the invoice number has been generated, even you can manually type it and press comma and another invoice. So by default this settlement will be done, one payment will be done against these multiple invoices. Usually for the settlement you can follow these settle documents, because settle documents will work for both cases, for invoices as well as those documents also which are the outstanding documents but it's not been settled. Outstanding documents but the invoice has not been generated. Transfer transaction is the same scenario. For the outstanding of one transaction, let me select one company. So their outstanding transaction will come here. For example, this one I want to transfer to another company. Next, ACC, save. So this transaction will be moved to the another company. It becomes the outstanding of the another company. The transaction entry the same as I have made the payment. Go to add. As I have made the payment, in the same scenarios you can make the manual invoice, you can make the credit note, you can make the debit note, and respective GL you will link it here and put the details here after the selection of the AR ID. This is the aging of AR code. Go to AR account aging, group wise aging, click search. So all the those records which are not settled. But here I can also observe one thing, because in this transaction there are number of outstanding. It is showing here on the aging wise, but on the left side unsettled credit it's also showing. So it means, what is the discrepancy? That the accountant is not doing the settlement. He is generating the invoices, or is only making the payments, but or credit note, whatever, but it is not settling with the invoices. That's why it is showing in the aging. So please, the step number 4, the settlement, which It is very mandatory step which you are supposed to do it, then respectively those transactions will not be appear in the aging screen. So let me go to the others. So all others companies are appearing here. If you click over any company, so their statement of account is being shown here. You can take the print, export to the Excel. If you click any transactions, so that transaction will be shown here. Close, close, back, close. So this is the way to get the aging of the account receivable. You can retrieve the record by invoice numbers, you can retrieve the record by document numbers, you can check the records of any transaction by and check the guest ledger's detail from here, because but it will only work if if you are using our PMS and the record is being transferred from our PMS to the point of your account receivable side. In the statement of account, there is one more feature available. Let me show you here. For instance, you can see there is some outstandings here for this transaction. Okay, and it is the outstanding. This is the payment. Sorry, this one is the payment, because the code is payment. Let me move to any other account where you have the big outstandings. Yes, like this at the FD documents. So here now I am understanding that this is the outstanding of any meeting. This is the amount here, and I am going to talk with the client, ACF company, and then they are of course I already sent the invoices also to them, and I am doing the follow-up. So on that time I will go to the traces, and I will put that the client is saying to me that please contact next week as per client. Jan. So like this way I've just mentioned it. So this record, this traces is saved now. So every week whenever I'm doing the follow up and other things, I will save it. So every week when the week will be started, on that time I will come and I will go to the account receivable report site, type trace reports. So I will define the period for what trace I am looking for. So it will show me. So every week I will come here and I will check that what are the traces, the instructions for me, which the follow up which I will have to do it against the pending payments. It's a very useful feature which you can utilize in your routine AR operation. Yes, so in terms of reports, sales register, sundry debtors, detailed data summaries, these are the important reports here. From the front office transaction, if you want to review how much data transfer or stuck here, you can check from the report side also. Invoicing, yes, the bill print as I have shown to you, it will be useful after doing the customized invoice option. After using that option, you can directly come here and take the print of all the invoices of the day from here. Statement of account, you can also take it from here, statement of account, and it is more useful because from here you can also mention that the details you want, settlement details you also want, all account detail you want. So like this way, these are the filter options also available here. The monthly aging of the party you also client you also want, so you can mention it here. The aging report is also available here. Detailed aging report, and this is more useful report where the aging report you are taking, where the invoice number will also be shown. So these are the important report which are useful for the routine account receivable operations. In transaction entry, as I have shown you about payment invoice, credit note and debit note, for sure you can, for one client wise you can make it individually, or in a manual way I'm talking about. And but yes, there is one more option available here. Click here for upload and download Excel. You can download the template, and in one template for multiple, for example I have to pass debit note of multiple client in by one entry. So I will download the template in the Excel. I will mention it. Wait, I will save it and I will show to you. The payment invoices, debit note, credit note, you can easily manage it from the template like this way. Whenever you first time you will download the template, you will also get some samples. So these samples you will delete it, but it is guiding you. You can make the debit note DN, CN, PM like this. Put the date, put the AR ID. No, AR name no need to put. Amounts and transitional amount, and if there is a VAT concept here, then you have to put VAT, tax, whatever. If those codes are available, you can use it. Otherwise, you are just supposed to mention the GLs, because if you are making the debit note, then it will credit to what. If you are making the invoice, so what it will credit to what. Simple, and GL narration. So this is the way you can easily make your all entries here, and then after saving the record, but put the correct AR IDs. And please always remove all these lines, because this is just the sample lines which we are giving along with the templates. So you can keep this template on your desktop, and from here you will browse it and upload it. So what is the advantage, which is in one go multiple debit note, multiple credit note will be posted into the application instead of doing one by one. So this short feature will be very useful in routine operation. In statement of account, usually whenever you are getting any statement of account, it is giving you only outstanding. If you want to see other outstanding, for instance, you will select settled transaction also. So currently there is no settled transaction, otherwise the view settlement option will be the view button will appear here, and D-link button also. So from here you can also, if you settle it and you want to reverse the settlement, you will go here and double click, and one small window will come. You will select the D-link option and press OK. So whatever you have settled it mistakenly, it will be reversed respectively. There is no concept of deletion available here. So whatever the transaction you are doing, and in some scenarios if you make the debit note, credit note mistakenly, so you are just supposed to make the in the same respective way. If the debit note is you have created mistakenly, then in the same way you have to make the credit note, and then you will settle with that debit note. Only this scenario is available in the application. So this one is the account receivable module, which where all the topics of the module has been covered now. Hope you will get it, and for the other things please mention me in the comments that what topics I will have to clarify it in another session. Thank you so much. Now there is a one query to me that there sometime what happens, you have one supplier, and that the same supplier becomes your a client, because he also wants to get some he wants to avail some facilities from your service area. So it means he also wants to become the client for you. So in that scenario, and he has some outstanding on the payable side, you have some outstanding against him in the payable side, where you are supposed to release the check to him. But in other way around, you have to deduct that outstanding amount, which he will take it, he will keep it on the accounts payable side. So how it will be handled? Please understand first of all that our accounts payable and receivable module is totally means as an individual model it is working. There is no concept of there is no relation among these two modules, but yes, these modules are linked with the general ledger. So now what concept you have to follow it here? You have to follow the bridge account concept, and you have to manage the contra entry. How it will be done? That in the accounts payable side, for example, you have one outstanding, one PJV, and what you are supposed to do, you will make one debit note, right? You will go to the this screen, post debit and credit note screen in accounts payable side, go to add, and here you are supposed to create the one debit note. So while making the debit note, the GL, select the supplier, and the GL which you are supposed to take, that one is that bridge account you will use it. The same bridge account you at the time of account receivable, when you are making the credit note, then you will mention it here, the same GL in the credit note. So of course when you transfer the record from accounts payable and receivable to the GL, then what will be happen? It will be nullified. So this is the scenario could be utilized for transferring the outstanding from payable to receivable side. Hope in terms of accounting you will understand me here.